The grace of God is sufficient for all of you.
Amen.
Allow me to take you through the scripture, the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 13. Then you go to the book of Romans, chapter 10, verse 5. Then you go to the book of 1 Kings, chapter 17, verse 1. I want to help you of how to make it possible to overcome. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 13. It goes, "It is written, I believed, therefore I have spoken." Since we have that same spirit of faith, we also believe and therefore speak. Verse 13 says, "It is written, I believed," past tense, "therefore I have spoken." Is it not past tense? Since we too ourselves have the same spirit of faith, we also believe. Not believed, but we also believe. The problem of many people, we trust yesterday's faith to solve today's trouble. Many people trust yesterday's faith, yesterday's grace to solve today's problem. Yesterday's grace, yesterday's faith, yesterday's trouble. Today's grace, today's faith, today's trouble. They are new every. Grace is new every. Faith should be new every. Joy should be new every. Joy comes in the. If you start morning, joy. Joy, faith. Faith, grace, take over the day. By the time you now close the day, it is over. Another joy, not the one of yesterday. Another joy has to take over the new day, new faith, new grace for new problems and new situations. Your problem now, you. Yesterday's grace, you are trying to use it to solve today's problem. Yesterday's faith, you are trying to use it to face today's challenges. It doesn't work. We believe, not believed. We believe because we are still current, we are alive. And faith is now. And because we believe, we also current. Your problem is that you are relying on yesterday's grace. Faith is now. If faith is now, it believes now, acts now, receives now. If faith believes, faith must act. If you say there is faith without action, you are not talking faith but mere belief, which is different. You say, I have faith without action, you are still talking belief here, because this belief must be expressed by faith. When I came to this church, I had this kind of revelation yesterday. And you are still believing that that revelation is going to hold you until today, and it's going to hold you until, my brother, it can. That revelation was for yesterday. You still need today's revelation. if faith has believed, the same faith must have an action. If I say I believe, I have faith on a certain matter, but failing to exercise the very faith, then I cannot accomplish a thing. If you say you believe, even the words you talk, the words that come out of your mouth must be words that shows or reveals the same faith. Many of us believe this, speak that. Without this correspondence, there can never be any positive outcome. Let us go to the book of Romans chapter 10 verse 5. Moses writes this about the righteousness that is by the law. The person who does these things will live by them. But the righteousness that is by faith says, do not say in your heart, who will ascend into heaven, that is to bring Christ down, or who will descend into the deep, that is to bring Christ up from the dead. But what does he say? The word is near you. It is in your mouth and in your. That is the message concerning faith that we proclaim. If you declare with your mouth, Jesus is Lord, and believe it in your heart, this is now faith inside, that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. If you confess with your mouth and say Jesus is Lord, true, and believe it in your heart, you speak what you believe. The faith in the heart must be thrown out, must be spoken in order to justify such a faith. I want to ask you a question here. Every time you talk, you speak, because you speak every day. You speak now and then. What do you confess? Do you confess your faith, or you confess your doubt? You were talking earlier on. You spoke just before the service started. You spoke to your husband earlier. You spoke to your husband yesterday. You spoke to your boss. You spoke to your co-worker. What were you speaking? Were you speaking your faith, or you were speaking your doubt? Were you speaking your faith, or you were speaking your fear? It is easy to say, I'm a believer, I'm a child of God, Jesus is the number one of my soul, the presence of God is with me. But revelation comes when we practice. Revelation comes through action. When you walk, somebody look at you. What are you walking? Your walk, what does it express? There are people, when you look at them, go into market, you know that they will come back without a thing because of the manner they walk, the expression. Then there's one that can be like the woman with the issue of blood for 12 years, and she says, he is in my town, and I've been bleeding for long, very weak. If I can only touch the hem of his garment, faith was spoken. Let's go to the book of 1 Kings 17 verse 1. Now, Elijah the Tishbite from Tishbe in Gilead said to Ahab, as the Lord, the God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my... Elijah expressed his belief by what he spoke, by what he said. Elijah had faith to stop rain, and so he spoke the faith he possessed. It came out, there shall be neither. This is the faith of Elijah being spoken out of his mouth. I hope you are there. You can see Elijah manifested his faith by what he spoke. First, there must be belief. Belief must be expressed through faith by what? By action. Many pray, but how many believe? If I believe, I shall get that job I'm looking for. But if I believe, if I believe, I shall be healed of the sickness I have. But if I believe, if I believe, I shall be delivered from the spirit that is troubling me. But if I believe, do you believe? Don't waste your mouth, your language, insulting people, speaking swearing words, because life demands that you sow good seeds. Life. But do you know the only person that can stop you is yourself? The only person, the greatest opposition is yourself. You must learn that. Thank you.